Bad boy.
What's up, ladies and gentlemen? You've tuned in to the flyest sports and entertainment podcast in all the land. This is Stat Lines Matter. I'm your host, as always, Mr. Mark E. Stewart, here with my partner in crime, as always, Mr. Robert A. Hunter Jr. You see, I got it right.
Yeah,
you see, I got the middle initial.
Hey, you know what? We're gonna go with the A from now on because the bag is imminent.
That doesn't have any. The middle initial doesn't have anything to do with the bag.
Well, how many broke people do you know to use their middle initial?
I did it when I was broke.
Yeah, Edward E. Jones. You know what I'm saying? Like these.
Wait, yeah, that's the
Edward
guy
Jones.
from the financial guy, right?
Yeah,
and they,
E.
Is it E?
Yeah, I think it's E. Oh, it might not be
Chuck
E at all.
E. Cheese.
Chuck E.
That's another one. See?
Chuck E. Cheese.
But he had the E when he got the bag.
When he got the bag.
He was just Chuck Cheese prior to that.
Just Chuck Cheese.
Chuck Cheese. This is my boy Chuck Cheese.
And that was going nowhere fast.
Yeah, Chuck Cheese wasn't going nowhere.
Chuck Cheese. My kids wasn't going in Chuck Cheese.
No, Chuck Cheese don't even sound fun, but Chuck E. Cheese.
Oh, that's lit.
Yeah.
Yeah, so Robert A. Hunter Jr. All
right, we're cool. That lines us up.
I mean, it's distinguished.
Yeah.
And now why not? I've been following your lead this long.
I mean, it was not really my lead.
I mean, to you it may not be, but to me, I mean, hey, look, I'm like, what would Mark do in this situation?
Well, that's good. I guess I'll take that as a compliment.
It is a compliment. I was wayward before you.
Wayward?
Yeah, I was wayward.
Wayward sound like you were just out, jumping on, buying bus tickets and going to Beaumont, Texas.
Not even.
Stuff.
I was waiting by the train tracks for the train to come and just hopping on them.
Wow.
with the stick with the bag.
Stick. Wait, why did they do that? What can you carry in a? What do you put in that?
I guess you put it. Okay.
Like, who came up with that? Like, this is the way you carry things around. Get you a little stick
when you ain't got nowhere to go.
Because you can't put nothing in there.
You ain't got no home. You ain't got no. You ain't got
even have soap in those days.
Address. And how do you get there? Because you ain't born like that. How do you be that motherfucker? Like you out here with the stick.
Yeah, and with the little rag.
Yeah, with the rag.
I think that's whack. I want somebody to explain me the history.
Something. How do you be white and end up like that? Because I ain't never seen nobody black with a stick with the satchel. Because you white in America, there's no way in the world you should fall to such lows where you got a stick and the bag hanging off the back. And
is it even a bag? I think it's like a little rag just tied up around.
It's like an oversized handkerchief.
Yeah, like a blood or a crip rag. Yeah. Like that's what it looked like.
Yeah, and when do you untie it? I ain't never seen nobody put that down.
What's in there?
Yeah,
like you put an apple in there. What do you got in there?
Maybe a canteen.
Yeah, what do you got in there?
Like I got in my smokes.
Yeah, but even why would you? Anyway,
why would you put your smokes in there though? Like because it's hard.
In your pocket.
Yeah.
Soft pack, but still, you know what I mean?
Because you can't afford the hard pack.
Yeah, like the hard pack is extra.
Hey, that would be, you want to talk about oxymoron. If I seen a hobo with stick, he had a hard pack, I'd be like dude, that's why you're in the situation you in. You buying a hard pack.
You shouldn't even be smoking if you're having a hard time.
Or that's the reason why you should be smoking.
Hey, sometimes you gotta prioritize, man. If your money ain't right, you shouldn't have no.
At least the soft pack. You got the hard pack and you broke. That's messed up.
I just believe like as you trying to get your money together, you just got to line up.
And what if you smoking clothes?
What is that?
That's an expensive cigarette.
Is it?
Yeah, clothes is way more expensive than like a Newport or Cool or Salem Light. Why do I know all the brands? I don't even smoke.
I mean, in the 70s, my parents used to smoke back in the day.
Oh yeah. My whole family.
I haven't been around smoking.
Was big chief.
A lot of weed smokers around me, but not cigarette smokers.
Yeah, my dad liked the Mary Jane very much. But he didn't smoke cigarettes.
Interesting. Well, listen, I wanted to have this show because I got tired of you always texting me about what you got right.
I don't normally do that. The full disclosure, I had a few. So
I like my phone started blowing. You see me out here, don't you?
I had a few. A few of the silver tequilas going. And
I got the idea for us to do an entire show dedicated to our takes, ones we got right, ones we got wrong, things that we believe, some big, some small.
So this is going to be a very short show because we haven't gotten much wrong.
We've gotten plenty wrong. But then it just becomes about what we're willing to admit to. And then there's other things that I think are somewhat up to interpretation or require some context, which I don't believe you like very much.
Oh, yeah.
You hate context.
I love context.
You hate context. You were on here like everything requires context.
Because you have to read context. You a contexter.
No, I just think everything deserves context.
Yeah, but I mean, you can't recontext the context. The original context is the context. You read context.
No, you're adding context. You can't create context. Well, you give context to what the statement is. Yeah, context deserves more to the context.
Double context.
Yeah. All right. So to give you an example of what I mean is you can't say that Bill Russell has 11 titles without giving the context of what the NBA was at that time.
Okay. I mean, all right. What
you know
was
what I mean?
It? Well, I mean, what was it? He was going up against Wilt. You know, I mean, one of the baddest to do it.
Yeah, but then other than Wilt
he
and
averaged 23 rebounds a game, Bill Russell.
But the reason you can do that is because the average height of the rest of the league,
little white man.
Yeah, the average height other than them two was like 6'4", like 6'3". Like there were small guys that were playing.
You know, the average height is going down
in the NBA,
in the league. Yeah, it was taller back in the day.
Yeah, that doesn't
because it's, I guess, becoming more of a guard game. Yeah, I guess.
And they used to let a lot of guys in only because they were tall. Like you guys drafted for the Hawks. The Concacs of the world,
Adam Keefe,
scream out like my name is Keefe.
Pick out of Stanford was the bane of my existence for a long time, because this was back when I thought, okay, so I didn't understand, right, that there's lottery picks, there were levels. I just thought if you was in the lottery that you're gonna get a good player. Yeah. And so when we got Adam Keefe, I was confused because I was like, he don't look good. Yeah. Like he didn't, like I didn't know.
There was never a day where anybody thought that Adam Keefe was going to change their fortune.
I didn't know, like back then, you know, I didn't have you didn't have, well, I guess most people, unless you worked at Bristol, you didn't have access to all the games. Right. So I didn't see hardly any I didn't see any Stanford games. And so when we drafted him, I was like, he don't look like he even play basketball. No. And so then, that's when I learned, you got to get like, you know, a Mutombo, or you got to get you a Mourning, or you got to get you a Larry Johnson. You got to get, you know, one of those. And then when one of my guys that I actually knew while I watched play, you know, Kenny Anderson was one of the first guys that I really watched it. I watched the college, the trend to the lottery. Mm-hmm. Like I watched that whole thing. We weren't nowhere near able to pick him. So anyway. Sorry. Yeah, so there's all the things that since we've known each other and we've been into these big debates, you know, about that guy's gonna blow up and that guy's not gonna blow up, and you know we all think we're quarterback evaluators, and you know, and listen, we do. I would say this in fairness to us, we do a pretty good job because we both watch a lot of college football. We watch a lot of sports, right? And that helps us because you see it with your own eyes. You're not sort of relying on the talking heads. And I think a lot of people who engage in the sports conversation don't actually really watch the games. They listen to what Stephen A. says or Colin Cowherd says, and then they take and they put that in their That's
DNA.
Good enough for me.
And then they come out and then be like, nah, because I'm telling you, man, he's blah, blah, blah. And you're really just giving me that guy.
Well, the problem with that is that the argument or the discussion normally lasts longer than that take, right? And then they end up sounding silly because
after that, that's like a one trick, and then they have nothing else.
There's more to the discussion. So,
so one of the ones that when we start talking about this that comes to mind for me, and I'm going to go with this as an incomplete. Okay, you're going to claim it as a victory, but I'm not claiming it as I'm not conceding this yet. I'm down 20. I'm down some points on this one. Baker Mayfield.
Oh, man.
I'm down some points. I will admit that, but I'm not conceding victory.
Yeah, Baker. But okay, so I'll say this to your point where you're not out, is that Baker has been in this position pretty much his entire
professional football
career, because he's I'm not the guy here. I'll go here. Right. And what Baker is, and this is the problem with Baker. Well, one of the problems that now you see this personality flaw is that he's not self-motivated. He needs something to happen. seemingly, and then I go, oh, okay, you're counting me out. Now I'm gonna. So this will probably be his most focused offseason he's had in a while. But he's like, but when everyone's seen the interview, not everyone, but you saw the interview where the dog was like laying across the. You didn't see this, and he was talking about, if I show up, well, how about I show up to this person's office, job and boo? Oh, I like to boo them. You didn't see that?
No.
So he was talking about like how the booing, really bothered him, and he was like, how would I mean, if I show up to their job and boo them? And I was like, there's only one problem with that, people like your job. It's
always been people customer facing.
Yeah, people's like you want to show up to like the cashier at Home Depot and boot it. Like that's not normal. That's a normal space where people boot.
That's just stupid.
Like, it was like a meathead, very meathead. Like I show up here and boo the shit out of you, and I'm like, bro, you are there for the gong or the praise.
100%.
And and
you invite. I'll say this: you invite additional scrutiny when you got 55 commercials on. And
get that money back.
And I'm all about the monetization of whatever your personality is, but you do understand that comes with the sense of you need to be able to deliver upon why that hype is there. They rolled the dice; those companies rolled the dice on you playing well. And I actually think his time in Cleveland was a mixed bag in terms of production. He's obviously not there for personality things, locker room things that will probably come out once he's officially on another team.
Yeah.
Or off that team, I'll put it that way. Because when you look at the numbers and you look at his production, he's better than Mitch Trubisky. He's better than guys out here getting jobs. You know what I mean? Like guys that are working.
Hey,
I'm always going to bring Mitch into this. I'm not even going to let you say it. I will always bring Mitch into this. I'm going to
bring
two people, Mitch and LeBron James. You know how we do over here, folks. But I'll say this though, like even take Mitch out of it. He's better than Sam Darnold. He's better than Daniel Jones. That's a boy name in New York.
Yeah.
Like he's better than a lot of guys. He's better than Drew Lock. Like Drew Lock's like penciled in as a starter, at least as of this taping.
Up in
Seattle.
And oh man, and what are they gonna do?
They gotta go get Baker Mayfield.
Yo, did you see? Oh, sorry.
Go.
I'm just saying they released the Jacobs and Josh Jacobs with the Raiders. It's 24 years old.
Yeah.
Like
wait, no, they didn't release him. They didn't. They didn't
pick away. Yeah, they pick up.
But see, that's the other thing too. Like
I'm sorry.
No. Like, listen, I think I saw that. Like, and the other guy that they got. So the guys that they got in the trade for Mac, they didn't pick up either one of those guys.
Yeah. I mean, so they lost their receiver to the accident,
to the streets.
Yeah, to the streets, and then Josh Jacobs he averaged 4.4 yards a carry.
He's good back, but sometimes, man, it's like you gotta.
Well, I mean, who gonna play running back? Like what? I don't understand. I don't understand.
I know my brother Trick is gonna get mad at me for this because he, we grew up in the running back era. Walter Payton and Dorsett, all those guys. You can find a running back.
But what's his option though? I mean,
you can find a running back.
Couldn't been that expensive.
That's all I'm saying,
man. The Raiders is gonna be right. I don't know what they don't just. They had one decent year, and now
I think they'll be good again.
You think so?
Mm-hmm.
All right.
Well, I mean, they got a number one wide receiver for sure.
Who is it?
The guy from Green Bay.
Oh, Devontae Adams. Yeah. I forgot about that. Devontae Freeman.
So I think Baker Mayfield is like my first one that I'm willing to put out and go.
That
I was wrong about that.
You was wrong.
But I'm not giving it all up. But I think it's if you like the validation for my argument would have been a new contract, and he did not get that. I was right about Mitch Trubisky. He did not get a new contract. In fact, he's on his third team.
No. Mitch is still. What? Mitch. All right, Mitch is coming. He going. I think he can lead you guys to the playoffs. I think that Mitch, TB10. Okay, TB10. He's in a great spot. They fixing up the offensive line. They got a good running back. They got good receivers. Coach who's never had a losing season. I think Mitch is in position for success.
And I think here's the problem, and I've said this on a previous podcast, but I'll say it on this one. the division. The division is tough. And the division is loaded with good quarterbacks. Lamar Jackson, Deshaun Watson.
Yo, and then they just got rid of Hollywood.
Yeah, Hollywood.
So Rashad Bateman is
he's the man.
How many? He got 140 something targets.
Hollywood.
So it's a good fantasy pickup there.
Yeah,
if you can get Rashad Bateman.
So I think that's going to be the problem. And you got the Bengals. You got the young gun Burrow.
I think so. Some of my misses, and if you can, you're welcome to chime in. Most of my misses have been, as I started thinking about it, has been on college basketball players. And
it's hard to predict.
Yeah, and one of my, it's not recent, so some of you guys may not even remember these guys. I know you're gonna remember, but I got them wrong. It's the same university, so I thought that Randolph Childress was gonna be some amazing and I thought that Tim Duncan was gonna be more like a Samaki Walker. You know what I mean? I
remember back in the day you used to ride for Tim Duncan.
No, I rolled for him but not coming out of Wake Forest.
Huh.
Yeah, at Wake for I thought, especially him coming back for that fourth year, I was like, man, you saw
he would have been the number one pick his junior.
And I'm like, why are you coming back? And I thought that Randolph Childress was gonna be like, some like Devin Booker or something. Like I thought he was going to be. When I saw him, particularly the game against North Carolina in the ACC tournament, and not everybody, we dating ourselves here, but I was like, hey, he going to be the guy that does everything that you ever wanted to see, and I was just, I've never been, Kirby Smart. There's another one, and we talked about that.
Oh yeah,
we talked about that. Yes, as a coach.
Yeah.
Well, no, as a player, my boy should have been starting in front of Kirby Smart, Walker Hatris, but Kirby. But I didn't know that Walker wasn't going to class, and I just didn't know these things. He's on academic probation. I did not know that. But when they were about to hire him, I talked about trying to duplicate what a genius has done and is doing in Tuscaloosa. And I'm like, you got to be careful, because a lot of what Nick Saban did was not only Monday through Saturday, or Sunday through Saturday, but in game, particularly like you think about when they played Deshaun Watson and they couldn't stop him. So the coaching decision coming out of halftime was the Alabama kicked the onside kick and got it back, and that was the difference in the game. Yeah. And I was like, that ain't coming to Athens,
right? At least you thought,
that's what I thought. And then he's a defensive guy, and I thought that the game is an offensive game, and I wanted Chip Kelly. Man, I was really wrong about it. Chip Kelly went to UCLA and didn't do nothing.
Yeah,
so
continues. He's still there.
Yeah, and continues to do nothing. And so anyway, I mean, 15 players selected in the draft. The wrongness.
Yeah. But that's one that you're okay to be wrong about.
Well, yeah. But
because
I still gotta.
You got a national championship.
I gotta come out and on that mountain and I gotta shout from the mountaintop just like I do when I'm right. That I was wrong about that.
But you benefited.
Yeah. It was a lot of joy. They're ready to play, man.
Yeah. And they're very well coached and coached up, and I think the NFL teams believe that and took. You got backup tight ends. You guys took a guard, meaning the Falcons, and you took the backup tight end Fitzpatrick.
Yeah.
In the 6th or 7th round.
Yeah. So
that's just a buy-in to the program at that point.
Yeah.
When you start getting the blocking tight end, it's like.
Yeah. He definitely has everything that the people who wanted him to, because one of the things they talked about was he's going to put a border around the state.
Yeah.
And I was like, what? And I said, man, recruiting ain't been our problem.
Right.
Rick was always getting guys.
Yeah.
Matthew Stafford to Rashad Jones to AJ Green, and the list goes on. Justin Houston.
Yeah.
And then, but no, there are levels. Mm-hmm. And Kirby was like, yeah, we gonna be number one.
Well, yeah, and you're gonna get the guys that you want out the state, and then everybody else can get everybody else.
Yeah. So we lost guys like Robert Kimdichie, who was in our state.
Yeah.
We lost Deshaun Watson. This is all on Mark Richt's watch. We lost Deshaun Watson to Clemson, Robert Kimdichie to Ole Miss. We lost Cam Newton to Florida.
Trevor Lawrence
to Clemson, all under Mark Richt's watch.
Right.
So and so you would think that if Kirby was there maybe a few seasons earlier, it might be a couple more national championships.
How long has Kirby been there?
However long, okay, I believe he's been since 16. The first year, that was the year that Mitch took over for. The reason why I know this is because that was Kirby's first game was against UNC, and Georgia won that game. Mm-hmm. So that's why I remember. So it was Mitch's first year. I believe it was 2016. I could be wrong.
Kyle Hamilton's from Georgia, from Marietta.
Oh, he went to where did he go? He went to
I forget what school, but yeah, I think from Marietta. He went to the suburbs, but he's from here.
All right. Well, anyway, yeah, I mean, that was like, and I was texting you. I was like, I've never been more wrong. That's the wrongest you can be about a guy. I used to call him Kirby dumb.
That Kirby smart.
That's just wrong.
When I started this exercise, I realized I've been wrong about a lot of stuff. Like I've got a lot of those things wrong, but then you start asking yourself, what was the motivation for why you made that decision? Why did you go down that road of that buy-in? And I realized for me, you when you throw your ego, I don't have an ego about a lot of stuff, but I have an ego in this. And then you get to a point where you dig in because you found yourself in a discussion about a player.
Sure.
Then you dig in and then you become invested in their thing and you get a little bit cloudy. Jimmy Clausen was a guy that I thought.
Oh, the Cobra Kai assassin.
Yeah, that I thought was going to come in. He fell. I think he was the first player taken in the second round to Carolina. Mm-hmm. And I thought, this is perfect landing spot. This is what he needs.
He's the number one player in the country coming out of high school.
He's number one player coming out of high school and didn't let anybody
Mater
down.
Dei? What high school did he go to?
It wasn't Mater Dei. It was there's a school in I think like Chatsworth. It's like, it was Oak Christian?
I don't know.
It's in California. I think it's like Calabasas or whatever. And he didn't disappoint at Notre Dame. It wasn't like he, like flamed out. He did what he was asked to do. I mean, he was a super accurate thrower, but when he got to the pros, it was just something that didn't click, and it became very, very obvious that, it's hard to play NFL quarterback, and he couldn't do it.
I tell you who I got wrong. It was in the same draft. Not that draft. I'm saying they were in the same draft. I was wrong about Brady Quinn. I thought Brady Quinn was going to come in for Cleveland. I thought he was going to be a good.
I thought it was a good landing spot for him too.
And Jamarcus Russell. I thought Jamarcus Russell was going to be a really good pro. And Todd McShay said it's the best pro day workout he's ever seen in his life was Jamarcus Russell's pro day. But I didn't know that he
traits.
He couldn't.
Yeah.
He couldn't. He
wouldn't.
Yeah.
He wouldn't.
Like they had to break up the meeting so he could go to sleep.
See, those are the things that I think when we're making these calls, we don't know.
Yeah.
We don't know what kind of traits that a guy has.
What is that?
But yeah, I could understand why people thought Jamarcus was. I mean, he went number one for a reason.
6'5", 6'6".
But it's one of those things. Sometimes you have the right game at the right time. He played lights out against Notre Dame on a big stage. I think it was Sugar Bowl or something, and he tore us up, and and the rest was history.
Yeah, I think he was the number one player coming out of high school when he signed with LSU. Did he play for the guy that got caught up in all that trouble? The LSU coach for all the sexual the sexual assault and all that. The coach that was right.
Miles.
Yeah.
Les Miles.
Les Miles.
Yeah, Les Miles. Yeah, they was running something down there. I was right about Jameis Winston.
I like Jameis. What are you saying? Because I don't think he's been bad.
Well, I don't think he hasn't been bad. But the thing that if you go back, because I think this is when we had our little super group text,
and I said, I think he can win a Super Bowl. I still think that.
I questioned whether or not he had the maturity, and I think I have that written.
Yeah, I've
always said that. I just didn't like his.
He's filling up the Uber driver, and
and this before we even knew that stuff. I'm just saying, just what we knew. From one of the funniest things about Jameis Winston is when he got suspended from the game in college, and then went and put his uniform on the coach was gonna forget.
He came out for warm-ups.
I do this. He thought they was playing with him. Nah, they're gonna let me play.
Yeah, that was and there's footage of it. If y'all haven't seen it, he came out of the tunnel with his helmet, with everything on.
In a game that he was suspended.
And that was coming off the situation that went down in the dorm room
or the cafeteria, right?
No, remember it was a rape situation that he was coming off of that happened in the dorm room.
He was exonerated of that, right?
I don't know if he was exonerated, but I think he got suspended, or I can't remember exactly what it was, but it was him and a couple of teammates. I think that happened, and then he had the thing after that, which he stood up on the table in the cafeteria and said, writing the which was like a thing on social media for a long time. And I was like, why would you do that?
You know, it's funny too. I learned this from my playing days at Shrum Memorial Junior High School. I remember our coach Ted Turner. I don't know if Ted Turner's alive or not.
No, Ted Turner got the
not your Ted Turner, my Ted Turner.
Oh,
but he used to say, I remember they used to tell us like, you're a Shrum basketball player. Turner? Yeah, you're a Shrum basketball player. You can't conduct yourself the way everybody else. You can't do what everybody else does. You're an athlete. You're a leader at your school. You have to be judged by a higher standard. And I was just thinking, like, nobody ever told that to Jay. It seemed like at that time, nobody had ever conveyed that to Jameis, and particularly because you're a quarterback of what at the time was a premier football school.
You won a national championship.
And then won a national championship and went number one and won a Heisman. Dude, you're the elite of the elite. Like, why are you even playing that?
But do you remember when they did Hard Knocks, and they started the episode off with going back home?
Yeah.
And you kind of saw, now I get why you're
some stuff is making some sense.
You out here on some buckwheat stuff.
Yeah, they didn't give him a lot to
he was like, man, we used to pee off this porch right here.
Yeah, that was when I was like, why wouldn't you just go in the house?
Yeah, why you at the house?
Yeah, just
like,
why would you
at the house? Why are you peeing off the porch?
You know one you had wrong?
Well,
really wrong. This one was so wrong. This is going back though. I'll never forget. This is like 20 years ago. Yeah, this fool calls me. He's like, hey, I'm telling you right now. He was so convinced. Number one, this draft, Seneca Wallace. I promise.
Seneca Wallace. Hey, Seneca Wallace went third
Iowa
round.
State?
Yeah, Iowa State Cyclones.
Yeah.
And it was the play after he had run, like he was going back, circle, like Tecmo Bowl.
Yeah.
Okay. Just like Tualoga did.
Like Tua, yeah.
Yeah. Just
in your mind.
Very similar.
Yeah, in your mind.
And it was like an 18-yard gain or something. And I was like, he going number one. And he went like 80 picks after number one.
But you know what?
I was just off a hair.
I'll give you a pass. I always gave you a pass on that one. Even though I kept trying to, at the time, I was like, you sure you want to die on this hill?
And I was
like, yes.
Yep.
But I give you a pass because you were young.
I was young.
Like, you hadn't spent a lot of time around me and Tab and the others, and you realize how we did it. You wouldn't make that mistake today.
No. I mean, well,
that was pure emotion. That was off one play.
No, it was.
You were responding to one play.
Quintessential Atlanta inner city sports,
prisoner of the moment,
getting hype.
Yes.
Boy, that boy, he was turning around, then he ran that thing up the sideline. Boy, you saw that.
Like, he going number one.
That was the total description of the play. He ran up the sideline, he turned, you juke that. I'm trying to keep from saying the N-word, because if we weren't recording right now, I'd be saying it left and right.
Right.
But he juked his ass that way, then he juked his ass that way, then got down, and hey, boy, he going number one. That's how I called him. I called him with that type of enthusiasm, with that diction, with those enunciations.
Yeah. Nah, I think
and he chuckled. He's like, Seneca Wallace ain't going no damn one.
I was like, but I'll give you a pass for that. I actually don't even put that on your. I don't even that got expunged from your record.
I go, it's like a speeding ticket. Like
it got expunged. Ticket. Like, you got to a certain age, we just took it off.
I plead no low contending.
We just took that off your thing. Was there any other ones that popped in your head that you had right or wrong, for that matter?
Sean May, out of the power forward, out of UNC. Yeah. I thought he was gonna come in and be like, I don't know, like Tim Duncan was. I love watching him play in that final. I think they won a national championship. And Sean May is gonna come into the league and gonna dominate for 12 years.
Yeah.
And I think he
4 or 5 years
was
maybe?
Yes, if that. I think Adam Morrison. From I thought Adam Morrison was gonna come in and be like the new Pistol Pete.
Yeah, because Adam Morrison at Gonzaga was nice.
Oh, he was super nice. He's like one of those guys. I think, and I think we've had a soft argument about it. I think that was the start of really Gonzaga being relevant, because I think John Stockton was more of a flash in the pan.
Yeah, for the program.
Yeah, for the program. But Adam Morrison, man, I love watching him play.
Yeah, they've consistently got good player since the Adam Morrison
I
days.
think didn't Jordan draft him?
Yeah.
Yeah, so Mike drafted him.
Mike fell for the banana in the tailpipe.
Hey, he had the size.
Yeah, and then I remember even then, I wasn't even quick to get off of that because even when he went, I think he went to the Lakers at some point, and then I was like, see, now he with the Lakers now, it's going to ring off.
No, do you remember on this?
I was on my shit.
No, okay. You were talking about Darko over LeBron.
No, that's not true. That's not true. That's not
you
true.
did.
That's
You
not
like
true.
you
That's
and
not
Tab
true.
was like, oh,
No.
playing against grown men.
No.
Over there, LeBron playing against children.
Hold on,
and I was like, I ain't taking no
First of
big
all,
ass white boy over no LeBron.
No, hold on.
Especially coming from over Uzbekistan. It's Uzbekistan, whatever stand he was coming from.
No,
You did it. All right, go ahead. You did it.
I knew you was gonna do that. That's why I didn't say that. I knew you was gonna try to. No. Like I know. You're trying to remix. You're giving the remix. I'm
not remixing.
Let me give you.
Darko.
Can I give you the album version?
LeBron.
Can I give you the album version?
All right.
Nobody. Okay. Let me definitively say on behalf of me and my boy Tab, not one time did we say Darko over LeBron. Let me make that 100% clear. What we did say when you would go, who's this big dude out of Slovenia or wherever country he was from, I was like, fools was like, nah,
Have
nice.
you seen his film? He's talking over he's talking over grown men. I don't know, no high school
I don't
boy
talk like that. But I did say those words. But not as a take him over LeBron. We were having an argument about if he deserved to be up there, and I would be willing to admit I thought he deserved to be in the conversation with those other players, but not over LeBron. LeBron was
I didn't like his name, Darko Milicic.
That's hard. If he was a baller, that would be awesome.
I was like, how you gonna turn in Darko for the slam? Like,
Darko was awful,
man.
Darko,
and he went through like a mental breakdown.
He should.
He should
the way he was playing. Like that, I would struggle.
Yeah, like he over there raising horses now. I think that's what he's doing.
Hey man, look, there's a handful of guys.
That's a big swing though, to go from dunking to raising horses. It's like I don't want nothing to do with basketball.
Yeah, but I think there's a handful of guys that because of who they were drafted around, lives will never be the same.
They say that was Jamarcus getting, that was your boy Kiffin that drafted him.
Really?
Yeah, and they were like, it just wasn't a good fit. Or somebody, he didn't want him. I think Kiffin didn't want him, or it was something like that where he got drafted and it wasn't a situation where he was wanted.
Right. But you look at it like the Sam Bowies of the world, I
think it wasn't an injury though for him, right?
It was injury, but it didn't matter. He could have turned into Patrick Ewing.
He didn't look like he was going to do nothing facially.
Listen, I remember watching Sam Bowie in college. This is a little bit before your time. And he was dominant. And at the time, they thought like every team needed a 7-footer that was, particularly they were getting more athletic. You had guys like Ralph Sampson that could, handle the ball a little bit.
He went to UVA.
He did go to UVA.
Not Tech though, but UVA.
Yeah,
sorry, it's an old show.
But guys like him, who's the guy who went to Portland? Because it's happened to Portland twice. Went after Durant. Oh no,
Ooh.
Durant went second. From Ohio State.
Oh, Greg Oden.
Greg Oden.
Yeah.
Another one of those.
Greg Oden.
Yeah, like Greg Oden came out of college looking like a 19-year-old veteran. He looked like
a 91-year-old.
Yeah,
veteran.
he looked like Robert Parrish.
Yeah.
He had the Robert Parrish look.
Well, do you think that, but that was more a problem with his knees though, right?
Yeah, but you know what it is? Here's the thing.
I didn't like Greg Oden. I didn't think he ran the floor. And that was my thing I argue with Emmett about that. I was like, see, he doesn't run the floor. Like he didn't run the floor at Ohio State. And your big gotta run the floor.
Yeah.
Because they create the spacing. So you gotta run the floor. If you don't run, you're the last one down court.
I think he was athletic, but he wasn't an effort guy. And I think, like, I say this all the time. Guys like you and I can sit here on our podcast and we can go back and forth and the whole night. But people like, and I'll bring Trubisky back into the discussion in this regard, is that, people go, well, but answer the question. People go, well, we didn't know that Mahomes was going to be Mahomes. Yes, if you're sitting at the house watching TV, You don't know that Mahomes going to be Mahomes. If you a GM, you got a GM job, that's your job.
He threw
That's your job.
41 touchdowns his senior year and rushed for 12, I believe.
Yeah.
Mahomes.
But even
That's a lot.
even identifying
At Texas
traits.
Tech.
Yeah, because they were playing the air raid or whatever, but that's the job of a GM and scouts and
That's
player
the
personnel.
gig.
That's the gig. So, like, yes, all of us civilians that are talking, yes, we didn't know. That's his job to know.
I just think, I'm going to be honest with you, I think that Mahomes, Deshaun, like, I think Trubisky was just a benefit of, I don't want to say recency bias, but you're falling in line with the quintessential, he's white, tall, a little bit mobile, and so they're drafting that guy.
Good in the room. Like, I actually think it was even less than I think it was, like, if we're being honest,
some of
I think
these
it was
guys,
white.
but
I think looked the part, good in the room, good at the whiteboard, and it's like, okay, because here's the problem. I don't care what he scored on the Wonderlic or whatever. He can't read the defense. I watched it was actually the Bears against the Falcons. It was the last season that he played in Chicago, and it's a game he got benched. I watched a scouts breakdown on an all-22 of every throw that he had in that game, and the amount of this is in season 4.
he ripped a big run off, and that's why they won that game.
That's not why we won the game.
Like
That was
50-yard run at the end of the half.
At the end of the half.
Yeah, and that scored a touchdown, and that was because of him.
Yeah, but that's not.
And they won every game he started that year.
You've said that on here before.
So.
That's literally false.
Oh, maybe. Oh, he lose one game.
No, he was 6-3 that season.
Hey, so you might want to keep running with that guy. 6-3.
If you go back and look at the all-22, it's a coach's tape on bad fundamentals, just things that you're going, why is this still happening? Misreads, simple NFL reads, which is why he got yanked out the game. I know on the surface it was like he's not playing that bad, but you go back and I'll send it to you if you want to watch it. It's like a 30-minute breakdown of each throw. The ones that weren't bad fundamentally were bad reads. The ones that were, sometimes he was bad fundamentals and bad reads, and then it finally culminated with the interception that got him out the game. It almost went for 6, but it gave you guys points. And if it wasn't for your just defense collapsing, that would have been another loss in that particular game.
Yeah, I mean,
your
Nick
defense
Foles
is like
came in,
Nick Foles just came in and
3
just,
touchdowns or 2
and
in the fourth quarter.
Three touchdowns in the fourth quarter.
Yeah.
Bad tackling. There was a throw that he threw out on the sidelines to Allen Robinson. Allen Robinson just shed a guy and ran in. It was like some playground stuff. So, but it was too bad.
And that was coming off of the Falcons Dallas game.
Yeah, which they had just gave up a big lead.
They just gave up a big lead, and they watched the onside kick, which they were. That's why I call it the onside. They had them hypnotized. That's what I call it. They were just staring at it, and it's like, you jump on the ball.
Yeah.
And you got to know that. And
I think
that was the game I dropped the Falcons.
I think and that was the day I gave up on Mitch. But for these things to be happening in season 4, it always stings extra for me because the 2 guys that went after him, have got not just good, they're 2 of the top 3 highest paid players at their position, which is the ultimate validation in how good they are. And your guy being on his 3rd team, the guy we drafted being on his 3rd team, a validation of how bad our guy was. That's how bad that pick was. That's why I can't get over it.
Yeah, because you don't. It's what I talk about with Mark Richt and Cameron Newton. Like it's you didn't just miss. You had him pegged. This is a Heisman Trophy national championship winner.
Yeah.
So you had him as
NFL.
You had him as a tight end.
Yeah.
You had him as a tight end.
Yeah.
That you can't miss.
Yeah.
You cannot miss that guy.
Yeah.
You just can't.
And I think to your point, this guy sitting at home that wouldn't have missed that.
And you're talking about, you missed on Pat Mahomes, who was a league MVP, Super Bowl MVP. You can't miss.
You can't do that when that's
guy.
your job.
Yeah, you can't miss
when
that.
there's literally probably 20,000 guys like us sitting at home that wouldn't have missed that.
Because at least what you do if you're Mark Richt, you go, all right, you want to play quarterback? We're gonna give you the opportunity to play quarterback. That's one of the reasons that we lost Derrick Henry, because Derrick Henry committed to Georgia first.
They saw him on defense.
They were like, we see him as a linebacker.
I actually see that more though.
Yeah.
I mean, it would have been dumb.
But that's another Heisman.
But at least you could see.
That's another Heisman Trophy national championship.
Yeah. NFL star. Yeah, like I think
He ran
sometimes
for 2K, didn't he?
Yeah. I think sometimes what happens, and I think it happens for us when we're evaluating guys, and I guess if you have these jobs, you're not immune to this, you can overthink. You can overthink sometimes. And there's certain things that when you look back and go, yeah, man, he didn't get no offers out of the Midwest. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like, or you look at it and go, yeah, Baker ain't never really worked. Like, this guy's been a walk-on, like, You know what I mean? Like, there's things you start like going, there's reasons why we got to this point.
You talk yourself
into it, and you digging in, and the text, the group text, and the next thing you know, you're riding hard, rooting play to play for Baker Mayfield, when the reality of it is he was a good quarterback, not a great quarterback, and he'll never be a great quarterback.
He played
in
in
the
an
NFL.
offense that was
very quarterback friendly.
Very quarterback friendly, which, not to take it this way, look out for USC, man. They're going to be right back. Because in college football, it's about the guy on the sidelines.
Yeah.
And Lincoln Riley is he going to light up.
Yeah. I can't wait.
Pac-12.
I can't wait to play them last game of the season. My Irish, because like right now, Marcus Freeman is doing an amazing job.
It's going to be exciting. It's going to be exciting.
Right now, as we sit here, right now in May, #1 recruiting class.
Congrats. I didn't even know that.
Yeah.
I haven't looked at recruiting in about a month.
Yeah, we got guys coming. And listen, there's a lot of guys recruiting well, but now we're in different conversations than we were with Brian Kelly.
Well, I mean, look, it's hard to say no. Marcus Freeman got the nice bronze light skin with the low haircut and young face, and he's exciting coming in.
Yeah,
he's exciting.
But I also think he's got a pedigree.
Your mama gonna like.
I'm about to say, like, I think he's good in the living room. Some of the living rooms.
Your mama want to give him some. I think Notre Dame is a wonderful.
We always been good with the mamas. You gotta get.
I bet you Mark is real good with the mamas.
He's married with 6 kids.
Hey, they said real good with the mamas.
He's a good guy, man.
Real good. He put points on the bizor.
Well, listen, we covered a lot of our hits and misses. There's more. We'll come back later in the year, do another show like this, because there'll be guys in this draft. Anybody in the draft that we just had that you willing to sort of go out on a limb before we close out and say, hey, this is my guy. I think he's gonna.
Okay. What are we talking about? Obvious picks or just anybody?
No, just anybody. It can be obvious.
Well, okay. The tight end. I think he was drafted in the 4th round by the Titans. Okonkwo out of Maryland. I think he's gonna be a Pro Bowler.
That's dope. I mean, listen. I didn't even really know the guy like that, so I think that's a good call. I don't know. I'll be honest with you. I don't know if I have anybody that I'm willing to go ham on.
I butchered that name, by the way.
But I will say, we talked about this in our earlier podcast, that wide receiver from Arkansas.
Oh, Traylon Burks. Yeah.
I like him.
Yeah, Trey Burks.
A lot.
Yeah,
I like him a lot.
Well, okay, the first receiver taken off the board was Drake London.
I don't think Drake's going to be a bust, though.
Okay, real quick. Drake won.
Money.
Yes.
Yeah, Drake the artist, recording artist. Yes.
Drake won.
Saying that he would be the first receiver
one
off
the board. Put $100,000 on it plus $335,000.
Yeah, won 200 and something.
Because he bet that Drake London would be the first receiver taken off the board. A prop bet.
Yeah.
$100,000. Did you say he showed that he won it?
Yeah.
He casually showed his betting balance was almost $1 million.
I love it.
How you doing?
I love it.
How's when Drake is doing all right after Degrassi?
What's my man's name? Yeah, right. What's my man's name? What is it? Burks?
Traylon Burke.
Trey Burks.
Yeah.
Like him a lot. I may not be going out on a limb saying he's going to be good.
It depends, right? I mean, are you watching SEC? Are you watching the Arkansas? Like most people aren't. Most people aren't. Well, I'm watching.
I watched him a lot.
Yeah,
That's why.
Watching. I like the quarterback they have there. Jefferson is a really good prospect.
Yeah. So I that's a guy that I like coming out of this draft. There's some other guys. Actually, I like the 2 guys the Bears got. I like the Brisker and Gordon as plug and play right into the Tampa 2. I'm not saying they're going to be Pro Bowlers, but I think we're going to have a young active defense. We'll be, I think, a 7-win team again, a 7-8 win team, but it'll feel a lot better because it'll be a young team. We have $100 and something million in cap space the following year. We got like
You have $100 million in cap space?
because we have almost everybody on a 1 year
The hell?
deal. Yeah, everybody's on a 1 year deal. We got $60 million in dead money.
Who got $100 million in cap space? You might get signed.
Well, we don't have. Look at it like this: we'll have a maybe about 20 young players,
Yeah.
and then we'll have a lot of money to spend
What
on cap.
what you think Fields gonna do? If you had to give me a prediction.
Progress.
Yeah.
I think he'll improve. The things that I love about Fields, I think he's an amazing deep ball thrower, very accurate on the deep ball. The bugaboo for him is recognition. Like it's lazy to say reads. You have to be able to read and then throw, and he has to be able to read, recognize, and
anticipate.
throw. And anticipate the throws that are not 30 yards out
You
of field.
say over under 25 passing touchdowns.
I'm going to go over. I think because they're bringing in a new system, he'll be a lot better. Will we be a lot better? We might be a game better.
But it don't matter if he lit
Yeah.
and he's throwing. If he throws 25 touchdowns and rushes for
we're gonna
about 5 more.
Yeah, I think we'll be like a pesky team that's going to lose more games than they win. But we'll be competitive, and we'll be showing improvement, and we'll come back the next year with cap space, draft picks, because our previous regime was great at giving away the next year's draft to try to patch up a hole from this year, and you can't win like that. Now we've got a depth. We drafted 12 guys. All those guys are not going to make the roster, but I like what he's doing. He has a plan. I think Fields will get better. I like Fields. I think as a prospect, he's the best prospect that the Bears have had at quarterback that we drafted in my lifetime, along with Jim McMahon, who was a really good passer. People don't realize that he just had played for a coach that really wanted to run the ball. But Jim was an amazing passer of football coming from BYU.
You got Walter back there. You're gonna
give him the ball. But I think sometimes because he was a little reckless and got hurt, we forget that he was a good quarterback. He was a good quarterback for us. But Fields,
and he's a tough SOB.
Yeah, but Fields is the best prospect at the position.
Why would I say SOB?
Yeah.
That isn't even what is that? I've never done that before in my life.
Yeah, so I expect improvement, but I also know that he needs improvement. There's things he's got to work on.
So do you trust, the offensive coordinator, the QB coach to develop?
Listen, we just at the point right now where you just gotta just be. You just got to believe. I mean, we got the guy from Green Bay.
What am I gonna do?
We got the quarterback coach from Green Bay. He's running offense. He's worked with Aaron Rodgers. So you just hope some of that shit rubs off. And, that's all you can hope for. Like you can't. I'm not in the meetings. Yeah. You know what I mean? I'm not in the scouting room. I don't know.
I don't know what the hell.
I wasn't at mini camp. I wasn't at OTAs.
It feels like football is so far away.
It's not.
But it feels that way.
Yeah, I know. Guys will be in camp in less than 90 days.
That's not short. In camp, you act like they're finna be out here hitting the field. Like we finna turn it on. They in the camp in less than 90 days.
Less than 90
what
days.
Is that? Is that how you get
look
through?
At it like this.
In less than 90 days.
There's only 2 more months.
That should sound long way. 90. The number 90 is a big long number.
See, in my world, that's around the corner.
Why is that around the corner? 90 days?
Because
90.
when you're in music.
Like more than 80.
But when you're in music and you're looking at release schedules and things like that, you're always looking like 90, 120 days ahead. So that's not really a long time. Yeah. Like when you talk about setting up a record, you're talking about 6 to 8 weeks. That's a month and a half. That's 2 months.
All right, well, okay. So
there's only 2 more months where there's no real football.
Dog years, and you're talking about the lifespan of a locust.
It's just the time. I'm just saying the time's not that long. Okay. That's all I'm saying.
All right.
It's May we're not gonna get no football. You'll get some mini camps. June you won't.
Counting on
July
that,
you will.
Well, the dog years and the lifespan of a locust.
I don't know what
it's a day
of a locust.
Yeah, it's a day.
Somebody step on it or something?
They just get out there. They scream during the summer and they out of there.
Damn, really?
Yeah, it's a day.
Tough life.
Yeah, man.
Imagine that.
It's a hard knock life.
Wow. Well, listen.
So an hour to a locust is 20 years.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So that's what I'm saying.
Do they still have locusts?
Do you smash? If you got 1 day to get it in.
I'd imagine you prioritize that.
Yeah, I would imagine you come out.
Yeah.
First 30 seconds, where they at.
Yeah. What you about to get talking to?
What you mean? I got time to talk to
you.
They got us. I mean, to produce more locusts, you got to be smashing. You got to be smashing because there's mad locusts out here.
Well, listen, let's get out of here. It's mad locusts. Locusts, we get so random sometimes. Well, listen, if you're still tuned into this,
you made it this far.
Thank you for tuning in. Like always,
Sex Life of a Locust.
Our podcast is available on Apple Podcasts and on Spotify for the audio. We are on YouTube. Our YouTube channel is at statlinesmatter, where you can get this episode, all of our past episodes, and clips and fragments of our episodes. You can catch those there. And obviously, you can always talk to us on our social media platforms, which is at statlinesmatter on TikTok, Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram. On behalf of my esteemed partner, Rob A. Hunter Jr., who is telling us about the sex life of locusts, I am Mark Stewart.
They gets it in.
Who knew that he was going to drop those type of nuggets?
I've been smashing like a locust.
And you heard it here first. He smashes like a locust. I'm Mark E. Stewart. This is Stat Lines Matter. We out.
Peace.
Bad boy. I ain't come for games. Say it to my face. Say it to my face. I ain't come for games. Say it to my face. Say it to my face.